Today, we're out here in this subtropical environment surrounded by tons of organisms. But how do they get all the energy they need to grow? Where does it come from? Let's find out together in this episode, all about the amazing process of photosynthesis. Looking around here, you can spot tons of different plants. Plants are producers. You will find these producers at the beginning of every food web or food chain, working hard, creating energy for all other organisms. These plants perform a process called photosynthesis to make their own food. But they're not the only ones. Some other organisms like algae and cyanobacteria can as well. Photosynthesis is critical for the survival of almost all organisms, but how does it work? Let's find some clues by looking at this plant's environment. The air surrounding it contains molecules of carbon dioxide. And looking down here at the bottom of the plant shows that it's firmly held in the soil by its roots. These roots have the function of absorbing water from the soil. Water and carbon dioxide are the two compounds needed to carry out photosynthesis. These are the starting materials or inputs. More on these inputs in a minute. Then we have the sun, pumping out energy in the form of light. This is the essential energy that our plants need in order to perform photosynthesis. So in terms of these producers making food, the ingredients that they need are sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water. Let's zoom in and take a closer look at our plant. The top surface of the leaf is flat and thin, providing a lot of surface area to trap sunlight. A cross-section of the leaf here shows the layers of cells. Below the upper protective layer is a layer of tightly packed cells. These cells have specialized organelles called chloroplasts. Chloroplasts contain green pigment molecules called chlorophyll. This is where leaves get their green color and where the sun's energy is captured for photosynthesis. Below that are spongy cells with open air spaces and vascular bundles of xylem and phloem that run from the plant roots all the way to the leaves. The xylem brings water the roots absorb from the soil all the way up to the leaves. The lower layer has many pores called stomata. Each stoma is surrounded by two guard cells which control the opening and closing of the stomata. If you're still here, liking this video, hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Now that we know the ingredients and the plant structures involved in photosynthesis, let's see how it all works together. Carbon dioxide enters into the leaf through the stomata, then passes through the air spaces, entering into the chlorophyll-containing cells. Roots draw water into the plant. That water travels through vessels called xylem to get to the leaves. Now both water and carbon dioxide molecules are absorbed by the chloroplasts. Inside the chloroplasts, chlorophyll traps energy from the sunlight. This energy is used to rearrange atoms in the carbon dioxide and water to make oxygen and sugars, or glucose. The energy from sunlight splits the water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen gas. The hydrogen gets combined with the carbon dioxide, making glucose. These oxygen and glucose molecules diffuse out of the chloroplasts. The oxygen is released from the leaf and exits through the stomata. This all sounds really great for the plant, but how does this process impact the ecosystem? Energy enters an ecosystem when light energy from the sun is transformed into chemical energy through photosynthesis. Plants can do a few things with the energy or sugars made during photosynthesis. They can break down the sugars to get usable energy right away, or store the sugar molecules for later use. If the plant stores the sugar molecules, it can then use them as a source of energy in the future, growing even when the sun isn't shining. The plant can also use the sugar molecules to build larger molecules called cellulose that make up the plant structure itself, becoming part of the plant's biomass. When the plant is eaten, its biomass provides matter and energy to the organism that eats it, like this rabbit or grasshopper or goat. This is how photosynthesis fits into the energy transfer that we see in a food chain or food web. Remember, photosynthetic organisms also release oxygen into the air, which is incredibly important for all the other organisms living in the ecosystem that use this oxygen to breathe. Even if you're not a huge fan of eating your vegetables, photosynthesis is impacting pretty much every breath you take and everything else you eat. So be sure to high-five the next plant you see. And if you want to learn more science, you can check out this video next. Birds! Go away! Shush! Hey! It's a lot of vultures.